To get you started with some reliable and relevant research sources for artificial intelligence, try the virtual library. I think, we don't need to see Wikipedia for this project, so let's try to find some more academic sources. So if I'm on AW under Home, I go to the school's website, and then I go to the virtual library. And then under the yellow sort of find box, or in the menu on the side, find, it gives you a much better search engine, a list of resources. So you guys are in high school, and we want to make sure that we are getting business information. Let's assume you're doing artificial intelligence in business. You can get, um, you could look into science, perhaps as well, current events as well, but let's focus on some business sources. So I think a good one is Advanced Placement Source. It gives you some sort of serious news articles, and it gives you some academic journals. Canadian business, that might show you how this is locally applicable. Canadian points of view, that might help you get the pros and cons, what good could happen, what bad could happen. And I think you could use these in addition to Google News. So what does Advanced Placement Source get you? Well, if you are at home, the password and username is Trillium. And so I could search for artificial intelligence, and it gives you some autocomplete, say in business. What does it show us? I know it's not necessarily going to tell you right away. You can customize it to get academic journals or some news articles, and selecting a full text one so you can read it first. And then, let's scroll through. This looks interesting if we're talking about MarTech, how some of these algorithmic recommendations, people who bought this also would like. Those kinds of picks. Well, this could be a negative. Maybe the recommendations are not for good quality. Maybe it causes people to spend too much money. Something like this could give you some specific facts that you could put into your presentation, and you get the HTML full text, you get some PDF full text. It looks like there's a couple of like charts. So if you were trying to think, hey, Mr. Borges asked for a negative aspect of this could work for you. Well, another one, Canadian business. Okay, well, it doesn't guarantee that the first source is going to be the best. Okay, well, let's say I was working on finance. Horizons launches Canada's first ETF driven by AI. So ETF, exchange traded fund, is sort of like mimics an index, or it can be managed by a person. And this analyzes patterns and makes investments decisions. So, and it's called Mind, and then maybe you could search for more about Mind. This is 2 years old. What's happened since then? Is it doing well? Is it doing poorly? And, hey, it's trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So this is definitely locally relevant. I'm going to go back to the school library website here just to make sure I send the link correctly. And we want this time Canadian points of view, because again it can tell you the pro and con of any issue. Canadian points of view, same database, same Trillium password. If you're at home, should log in automatically at school. Okay, well, maybe AI branding, is changing, creative. Maybe I'll just search for artificial intelligence, see what comes up. creeping ethical challenges. Okay, so maybe people might feel uncomfortable about AI, and then you can sort of read that these are going to be opinion based, so they could support your whether you think this is good or bad, and I want you to look at both sides of the issue. And then lastly, just news.google.com, see what's happening under the artificial intelligence, you know. So here, some basic things, that are recently happening. If you're not sure what to do, you could go there. We could also just, okay, how artificial intelligence can improve marketing for any size of business. So it looks like a Forbes, that's a fairly very reliable business newspaper. And then it goes on to say, how it is changing, advertisement and marketing. So obviously, remember, once you get these URLs, write them down, write the article name down. So, you can go to easybib.com and, when you're done, and create a very, thorough APA works cited list to also go with your report or podcast.